We are live for Ask Jay episode 59, and we are streaming live again, back to back live streaming episodes. I'm going to hop right into our motivational message of the day with the Ask Jay show. You guys already know this about, you've been watching it long enough. I don't got to explain that to you. So our motivational message comes from something that I learned from Suge Knight. And I got this from Suge Knight back in 1998, while I was reading, I think, a Vibe magazine or a Source magazine in Mod 3 Upper on C74 in Rikers Island in Queens, New York. I was reading a magazine in my dorm, in my dormitory, when I was 18 years old, sitting on the island, right, sitting in jail, awaiting trial, facing 3 years to life in prison. And I remember I addressed something really profound that always stuck with me. Like one of those things that really stuck with me, I use like to this day. And Suge Knight said, the average person looks to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And he said, I like to kill 4 birds with 1 stone. And he said, you know how you do that? He said, you know, if you kill if you kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you break the stone in half, you now can kill 4 birds. Right, use each half to kill 2 birds. So I just thought that was dope, right? It just was like so profound to me, and it's like, wow, that's genius. Why don't everybody think like that? So it's like, and the point in that is like maximize your opportunity or maximize every situation. So whenever you can go into something, yeah, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, if you can actually get more wins out of that equation, then do so. So like, be like a great juggler, be a great multitasker. And always just think like, yo, where can I maximize this opportunity at? It's something like, even like, and I kind of take this from like what I'm doing tomorrow, well, technically today, because it's just a few hours away, really. I'm being at, it's whatever time it is, 4 in the morning nearly. But tomorrow I have a Day with Jay client, right? So for those of you who don't know, I do one-on-one, I do yearly coaching, I do hourly consulting, I do Skype coaching, but I also do something called a Day with Jay, where I do it in a group setting where a group of people in different cities get to actually spend a whole day with me, from breakfast to lunch to hours in the boardroom together, to walking through properties, to looking at businesses, whatever it is that we have for that agenda for the day, including networking events in the evening or seminars, right? So they get a whole day with me. And then I do individual Day with Jays, where coaching clients actually book me out for the whole entire day. So they get a whole day, like 9 a.m. all the way till 5, usually even beyond, where we got a whole extensive day, right? So I got a Day with Jay client tomorrow, Rashawn from South Jersey. And at the same time, I am meeting with and evaluating a property for J. Morrison Real Estate Partners, my real estate company. The property is already evaluated. Chris Darden already did the evaluation. So I'm actually just using the property that we are purchasing this week. I'm using that as again, 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm using that property as a property for Rashawn to come actually visit and use for his Day with Jay walkthrough. But it serves another purpose, because I just personally want to see this property that we're buying. Usually I won't and don't have to hands-on see every property that my company purchases or that we represent for a client. I don't need to see it. My team knows what they're doing because they're trained well. But because, again, I have this open Saturday, or the Saturday, which I'm doing a Day with Jay, and Rashawn lives in South Jersey, not far from the property in Norristown, Pennsylvania, we're going to visit that property. So now I get to actually see one of the properties that we're acquiring as a company, and I get this service my Day with Jay client, use that there. This property also is a property that C. Darden Real Estate, Christopher Darden's company, brought into the fold, into J. Morrison Real Estate Partners. So this will be Chris's first real estate deal he's going to be closing on from a wholesale perspective. So Chris's company is going to be closing on their first deal. They actually found a property that he's wholesaling to me. Well, not me personally, but my company. And that deal that my company is acquiring is on behalf of one of our asset management clients, right? So I got Rashawn over here, my Day with Jay client, but that's Rashawn. Then I have Sean over here, our JM Rep asset management client, who's also going to be meeting at the property to give him some live coaching. Although our asset management, what we call turnkey coaching, they don't have to see the properties. They don't have to look for the properties. They don't have to find the contractors. They don't got to evaluate the deals. JM Rep does all the heavy work, right? All the upfront lifting. But Sean, being that he's in Pennsylvania, like if he was an asset management client in Atlanta, this probably wouldn't even happen tomorrow. But because he's in Pennsylvania also, and the property happens to be in Pennsylvania, because like we don't necessarily invest where our clients live, we invest where the properties make the most sense. And our team on the ground manages those properties. So it just so happens, as coincidence has it, that my asset management client, who our company is representing, will be able to walk through the property that he's a part of during this new acquisition. That's a property that Chris Darden Real Estate is a part of, which just happens he's the one that brought to the table out of Norristown, which happens to be close to my Ask Jay client, my Day with Jay client, Rashawn. And so all that is happening tomorrow, right? These are all the birds I'm killing with one stone tomorrow. Then on top of that, JM Rep, one of our JM Rep brand ambassadors, Tosin Adewale. Tosin lives in New Jersey, so he's going to actually drive down with us tomorrow, and he's going to record the Day with Jay with Rashawn, but then also record the walkthrough for Chris and for Sean and for JM Rep, and just really record and document the whole day and the whole process. So now I get footage out of it. You know I'm going to do probably a Periscope tomorrow. I get my social media out of it as well. I get to do an Ask Jay and mention it all and bring two different coaching clients to the table from two different whole perspectives, don't even know each other, but are all part of the equation, and help my star pupil and protege, Chris, execute and close out on his first deal. And my company gets another asset to manage, another example of a success story within our fold. So I just killed like 6 birds with one stone. That's my whole point. That's how my mind works. From that article with Suge Knight, my mind works in how do I maximize every opportunity? Well, that's how I just naturally think like that. So I'm giving you guys that same game to start thinking like, man, I'm making the most out of this. Like, how else can am I making the most out of whatever the heck you're doing, right? So think very, very strategically is the whole point. I think it takes a critical thinker and an innovative thinker to think about breaking a stone in half and killing 4 birds. That's a mindset. That's a certain kind of person that triggers certain things in your brain. And that's what I appreciated so much about that line and that quote. It's not something that's talked about or, people, I guess, think profound. It's not something that you live, that you think of associated with Suge Knight or people, whatever. But to me, that meant a lot. It meant a lot because it got my brain thinking. So hopefully that jarred something in you all to really challenge yourself about how creative are you. Another line before I get to our 5 questions of the Ask Jay show is I also remember the first time I heard this was in jail, but not New York jail. This was when I was in Maryland prison a few years later. Someone said to me, just as a little slick line, they was like, 1 in 1, right? Yeah. So no, you say 2 and 2. I think it's the way they worded it. Like 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? But 2 and 2 is 22. So it's like you ask somebody like, yo, what's 2 and 2? They'd be like 4. But 2 and 2 is not 4. 2 and 2 is 22. 2 plus 2 is 4. And it's like, it's just, again, it's all about perspective, how you look at things. So it's always like, always thinking of a more creative way for you to just approach every situation. That's it. Long story short. So my 2 and 2 beat your 2 plus 2 all day. Now we are going to get into our 5 questions. Thank you, Brandon J. Wigley, Real Estate King out of Atlanta, JM Rep, Vice President, for being so consistent and sending these over. You only missed that one day that we're not going to talk about. And let's roll. So YouTube, Mr. Tucker 2345 asks, as an investor, how do you feel about the Fed raising the interest rates? Interest rates are gonna rise at some point. They're never gonna stay the same. I think it's very important that we capitalize on the rates being low as they've been for a long, long time now, and capitalize on that while we can, and we play the market accordingly. I think where it could help with raising the interest rates is for cash buyers and for those who have great financing relationships. There'll be a lot more opportunity out there. I think it might take some people out of the pool, But for the most part, I don't think that it's. And I don't even know to what degree they're raising the rates. But for the most part, it's long as your deals still make sense per how we evaluate them. The game is still to be played. I mean, that's something astronomical where it's just like there's no way to get returns out of it. But either way, your money has to work for you, and interest rates are going to rise and be low. So where you can lock into a 30-year fix now, lock into a 30-year fix while interest rates are still at all-time lows. So also from YouTube, one of our most faithful, the Queen Kimberly Navarro asks, what is your opinion of the Black Hebrew Real Israelite movement? They are a group of people who have similar purpose as yours to unify, empower, and awaken Black people with an ultimate goal to start a Black nation in Israel. What is your opinion of the movement? That's a very good question. And I haven't dove all the way into it. I have seen some things and read things, off face value and just like, surface level. And a lot of the points and even biblical verses and things that they use do kind of make some kind of sense, right? There seems to be some validity there. I think their approach is what probably hasn't allowed them as an organization to get as much traction as they want. And that's with a lot of groups, like even a lot of religions. It's like, when you feel so convicted by something, it's like the way you deliver to somebody, whether it be because your passion or your level of conviction, that can steer or sway someone, in regards to getting involved, right? So I think that, but I guess my larger point is, as I got past that surface level stuff, because you may see them in certain garb or wear, I know they're going to be out in Newark, New Jersey on the corners yelling and talking about Jesus this and we are whatever, just different stuff. It's like, it just all depends on, like, first impressions is everything. So I think that there's a bunch of different movements within Black unification that I think are actually pretty genius and on point and have some relevancy and legitimate points, but the way they package it and bring the message is probably what doesn't allow it to get the traction that it wants. And but that whole whole concept of who are the true Jews or Israelites or whatever tribe of God or whatever, I don't know that enough through history, but it could make a lot of sense that those who are of darker complexion and from Africa and who were scientifically original people, which are Black people, it would make sense that we are Jews. It could make sense that we are God's chosen, being that we've figured out that Black people were the first here on earth, and Jews are supposed to be, I guess from a religious standpoint, God's chosen people. So I don't know, man. All that stuff is like super deep, but I do think nevertheless, Black people can unify outside of around a religion, right? Nation of Islam, Jew, Christian, whatever. I like to see us unify around our flag, the red, black, and green flag, and start taking pride in our heritage and start there. I think only religion only unify you, but to me so much, because everybody has a different preference. Everybody sees God in a different way. And I think all the religions are man-made. I know all the religions are man-made because man made up those structures. God didn't make religion. God made us. And we made these different ways to look at him and different mosques and temples and churches. So, yeah, I think from a religious standpoint overall, I think it's, I'm just more about the bigger picture of unifying Black people around the world, around the fact that we are Black and are descendants of Africa, the original homeland, and that we don't have a common heritage where European Americans or Europeans or Asians or those of Asian descent, European descent, etc., seem to share their common heritage and unity a lot more than us of dark complexion. So that's my long answer to a very good question as always, Kim. And now let's get to the Twitter. Sturbank asks, Mr. J. Morrison, I heard you mention in your last video you had a conversation with Jay-Z. What was that combo like? #AskJ. it was not a Jay Morrison and Jay-Z one-on-one combo. It was more of a social environment. Just being around mutual friends and mutual family. And it was more about food and how I think it was my pancakes were, and just little table laughter and banter. So it was nothing business related, nothing really of complex dialogue. It was just an opportunity, and it was a dope opportunity for me, being that Jay has accomplished as much as he is, and he's we see him up here at such a high level, but he was very, very extremely down to earth. And just me being a fan of his music and a fan of him, of his success story, it was a great opportunity to be able to break bread with him, kick it with him. And, I did what I felt I was supposed to do in that situation, just coming up how I come up. And so I treated the meal, and, our own personal dialogue from him to me was, yo, that's what's up. I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate you. And so and it was just more kind of like that. It was kind of like a private kind of just side note, like not like across the whole table where everybody was and all that. It was kind of just to the side. He was just like, it was just kind of like that head nod, like, and he said it, what I mean? And I thought that was just dope, because it's just like, I just do what I just know to do. So if I'm sitting at the table with Big Homie, and Jay is obviously Jay-Z, outside just a musical figure, but what he means to people like me that come out of the streets, like who he has represented, what his music represented for us getting through the environment in which we came. That was like big bro, that's Big Homie. So it was like, there's no way that there's no different than the guys who originally put me on, like even in the streets, like like Keel and certain dudes that really took me under their wing, White Boy Eddie, whatever, like who were like my first, I guess, mentors, so to speak, people that helped me survive. There's no way that if I sat seeing any of them that, I'm not going to take them out to eat, I'm not going to treat them, I'm not going to just pay homage, right? That's what you do. Like, I don't know what this new generation thing is, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you get an opportunity to be with somebody that's inspired you or somebody's added value to your life, you know what I'm saying? You pay homage, you know what I'm saying? You salute. That's what we do. Like, nobody's too big for that. So, I felt, it my duty or my pleasure even to pay homage and show respect. And it was just dope for him to be in the seat he's in, and again, just be that genuine and down to earth, just to, salute me and shout me out just for don't want to, like just, so that was it. No extensive conversation with me and Hov. We've met a couple other times other than that, just on some what's up kind of thing or whatever the case is. And that's that. I love to see Big Homie, like, I know he got it in him. I know his heart is right. I can tell you, I know his heart is good. I know his heart is right. And I love to see him actually step up and be in this civil rights fight. Like, not just like jab and like in and out, but like full-fledged, like, yo, F that. Like, outside of Mr. Louis Farrakhan, Jay-Z is the most powerful black man in America. And he could use those superpowers for like total unification and total unification and liberation and for the fight of like equal rights for black people. He can bring so many people resources, not even money resources, just his influence resources to the table. That would just be dope. And I don't know, everyone has to follow their calling. It may not be his calling or his time, but I would love to see that though. I would love to see Big Homie actually evolve, right? I know we all evolve. Like I evolve every freaking day. So I'd love to see him evolve and be in a space of where he's very progressive about, defending, fighting, and just like, all hands on deck, like both feet in and fighting for and stand up for our people. That'd be dope. I'd love to see that. And if I get the opportunity to ever rap with bro, I will have that. I would love to have that sidebar combo, like heart to heart, because that's how I feel. I mean, not just with some YouTube shit, but that's how I really feel. So I love to like want to inspire, motivate, or even, just, sometimes we just need to hear it from somebody. You never know. So anyway, on IG at B_doubler ask, how do you find and execute wholesale deals? That is a very, very broad stroke question, King or Queen. There's tons of ways to find wholesale deals. And how do you execute them? Well, you start by our strategy. You could do it as an individual, but we teach it that you do it as a business, as a company. So you start your business in your company, and then you start your marketing for your business in your company. You build your buyers list and your sellers list, and you find a seller that has a piece of property, which we call inventory, that makes sense because you learn how to evaluate a deal. You evaluate the deal, you contract the deal, and then you assign that deal or the rights to that contract to one of your buyers in your buyers list or investors. And then you assign it, you get your deposit, and you go through the closing process of the deal with the investor, or the investor will go through with the seller, and then you'll get a check at closing. Typically, if you didn't get a non-refundable deposit, you get a check at closing for your fee for having participated in the original purchase rights of the deal and assigning it to the buyer or investor. If that makes any sense to you. But that's how you find and execute a wholesale deal. You asked. All of which you can learn in our residential real estate course in the Jay Morrison Academy. Or you can learn all over YouTube. You can just stumble upon somebody's random video, or you can get our full training over 26 weeks that comes with live mentorship calls every 2 weeks that students have had a lot of success with. So I don't care where you learn it, but we offer it in our school where you can find it randomly on any of these sites and blogs and trust their guidance. Up to you. Facebook. Yaz Lee asks, could you let us take a peek into your mind and give us 3 of your goals for 2016? Ooh. Come on, Yaz Lee. Why we gotta be so intimate? 3 of my goals for 2016. That is a really tough one. 3 of my goals for 2016. I know I have them. Why can't I think of them right now off the top of my head? I mean, they're mostly all. Well, one I know is to complete at least one round, our first round, right? My first goal is to complete our first round of our ARC program, which is the AARC program, which means African American Repair Curriculum. So that's a 30-point program I created that we're piloting in Baltimore, Maryland, where we teach 30 classes of social and economic repair over 10 weeks. So that's 3 classes every Saturday for 10 weeks. They're about an hour to hour and a half classes. They're free, where we actually will teach our community social and economic repair. Everything from African history to new African values, to African American history, to parenting, anger management, conflict resolution, spiritual overview, health and wellness, civil disobedience, civil law, ex-offender reentry, right? All those social things we're going to teach in this class, 15 of them, and then 15 economic components as well. So we're going to cover credit, bankruptcy, insurances, taxes, residential real estate, commercial real estate, business startup, franchising. Like, we're going to give our community the overall holistic, comprehensive repair that we've never had. And so it's the ark. I look at it as like Noah's Ark, like the world's going to end. We just got flooded. Everybody get on this boat, right? It's kind of the same thing. It's like our African American Repair Curriculum, our YMC arc is, hey, everybody hop in this class and save yourself and get repaired socially and economically, right? So it's going to be 30 classes. And I don't teach them all. We bring in guest speakers from around the country to teach different areas of expertise within that. And I think I want to see what it's like when our whole community gets that kind of awakening, those kind of eye openers and samplers of so many high level topics that we just don't get. And, you know, on the social and economic side. So that's one thing I want to do, is complete the arc at least once. And I really want, and then after we do it once, I want to perfect it, tweak it, and scale it to different cities and allow everyone to implement the program once we get it right. So that's one. I do want and plan by the end of 2016 two things with Jay Morrison Academy. One is I plan to have or be way closer, or just one step away, or already have it, our federal accreditation as a school. So that's something we're working on, is our state and federal accreditation as a school, which will make us eligible for FAFSA and other kind of like grants and government programs and financial aids. And then two, I want at least one, probably multiple, really back of my head, I'm going to say one to be conservative. I want at least one brick and mortar Jay Morrison Academy building or space in which we teach weekly classes somewhere, probably in the Jersey, New York area, but a weekly brick and mortar Jay Morrison Academy. As right now, all of our lessons are online. I want to have versions of those lessons, and probably scaled in different cities with different teachers teaching it. What I want brick and mortar versions of JMA. That's another thing. And I do want to break ground on our Baltimore Black Wall Street development. I want to break ground. I want to actually be in properties and have our street acquired and be in that process. And like, that's another big goal. I don't think I talk about it enough, or I need to be very intentional about, is making sure we break ground on Black Wall Street. As I'm building the social and economic side from an education standpoint and repair standpoint, we do want to actually put this part of our Black Wall Street model as a social and economic repair, but having that in an area in which we control the real estate and control, blocks at a time, and start to really pilot what better Black communities look like. So that's another goal of mine. So that's like 3 or 4, whatever that is. But thank you, Yaz Lee _Lee, I believe. So anyway, guys, that's my live streaming Ask Jay 3 days in a row. So you guys got a break from the intro and the hashtag and all that kind of stuff. But make sure you follow me on Instagram at Mr. J Morrison. Make sure that you like this video, you share this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know, just late night working. I'm about to take it down, get like 4 hours of sleep, get some coffee, head down to PA to rehab, not to rehab, but to evaluate this property and really hands-on mentor some really great young kings who are breaking into the business. Like, that's just, so right now, tomorrow, I'm going to be with actually 4 of my proteges. I'm going to be with Tosin, I'm going to be with Chris, I'm going to be with Sean, I'm going to be with Rayshawn. So 4 of my proteges, none of which who know each, well, they know each other now, but haven't grown up together. These are 4 kings from different parts of the country, different parts of the tri-state area, and I got the hands-on, be a part of their growth and development. And I just think that's dope. That like one day I'm going to be an old man. I mean, I'm older now, but I'm not old. But I'm going to be an old man one day, and it's going to be a bunch of young kings and queens going to be like, yo, big bro showed me this. I remember that day I spent with Jay. Just a lot of intangible life skills that I get to pass on that are going to be my legacy. I mean, one day they're going to teach their kids or teach someone how to evaluate a property, and they're going to be like, yo, this is where I learned it at. So a lot of the stories I tell you about me in the streets or me in jail or me whatever are experiences that in a lifestyle that I created for myself or that I lived for 10 years based off the people I seen around me when I was 15 and 16, which were all dope boys. And so that's what I want to be like. And that's who raised me. That's where I grew up. And the guys in jail, the ones that took me under their wing in prison, like that's where I grew up in New York prison and in Maryland prison. That's where I became a man at, right, as a young adolescent. So just saying, like, that was my role models. And that's was like, those were the guys that meant something to me. And so now for me to be the guy, the king that means something to so many other people, but in a positive way, right? So it's like, I don't look at my old role models as bad people, because that's just what we knew and that's what we did. That's what our culture and our environment was. But it's just great for me to be evolved and be able to mentor and put people under my wing, but in a positive and a good way, and really steer them right in life. And that really boils down to my whole brand. I'll probably talk about this more tomorrow. I'll let you guys go. But it's and talking to Chris Darden today at an early dinner we had. The Jay Morrison Academy brand is like bridging the wealth gap, right? That's like all that wealth stuff. And people were trying to peg that on me, like Jay Morrison, the real estate guy, the wealth guy, and I hated it because I felt it was so narrow. I know that my vision is bigger than just economics and real estate, although I talk about that a lot. So I realized the economics and real estate side is my education model and our company model at JM Rep. But what you guys can go to for consulting, coaching, etc., go to jmrepartners.com. Little plug, jmrepartners.com. Anyway, me as a brand, the Jay Morrison brand, the person is just not bridging the wealth gap. It's just not economics. My brand is leading by example. And so what that breaks down to, and again, I'll talk about it tomorrow probably as well, is that it's like my goal is not to be the economics guy or the real estate guy or the richest guy, whatever. It's not my goal. My goal is to maximize my talents and squeeze my gifts and do what God has asked me to do and called me to do. Right. So how you know what God called you to do is by simply maximizing your talents. That's what God called every one of us to do, is maximize our talents. So if my talent is leadership, organizing, speaking, being a role model, like all things that I'm currently doing, right? So if I'm living these things out, that's me being great, and that's me leading by example. So for me, is showing those who relate to me or relate to my story or like the way I teach, preach, talk, whatever, inspire, and the way I walk. For me, my goal is to lead by example and be one of the biggest role models and inspirations in the world and to the African American community, and show young men and women, right? So I know my mission is not even just for young men, although more men may relate to me and my experiences. But it's not, my message is not just for men. It's like not even that kind of message. My message for young men and women, young kings and queens, to see what authentic and what real really looks like, and see what Black love really looks like, and to see what is done with someone that has adversity, is not perfect and is not super religious, but very spiritual, but don't have to be religious. And who's not, I think that's my balance, my purpose is like, y'all see that I purposely I don't put on any shows. So it's like I said in an Instagram post today, you'll see me in business suits, you'll see me in sweatsuits and hoodies. It's like, I don't have to be in a suit and tie all the time, but I can do that very well. And I could chill and dress down. Like, you can't even see me right now. I got shorts on right now. I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just a person that's just being just real and authentic and transparent. That's me leading by example. It's just like, yo, we can do it. Like, you could be cool, you could be funny, you could party, you could, all that. Like, you could, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Y'all know I slip up and I curse every once in a while and I do some more stuff. It's like, I'm not saying that I'm going to show you what a perfect man looks like. I'm going to show you what an authentic man looks like, and what somebody that loves his people looks like, and somebody that has grown and constantly evolved and constantly will grow. So like, that's me leading by examples for those who are not scared to grow and scared to learn and scared to be wrong and scared to be, you know what I mean? Like, that's what this live stuff is about. Like, it's like you got to get past your flaws. Like, every episode, I'm like, my hair is like barely brushed, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, everything's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. That's all part of my journey and my, I guess, inspiration, and where I want to, cause I think we put a lot of our pressure on ourselves, especially our young people, our millennials, is like, we put so much pressure on ourselves about how we look and this being perfect and this, that, and the third, and then that pressure on our heart being pure. Like, that's what's most important. Like, we trying to look so good, but we dirty as hell inside. So it's like, it don't make a difference how shiny everything else looks on the outside if you're not right and your heart not right inside and you're not spiritually aligned. So it's like, that's the most important thing. It's like, yo, do you love God? Do you love yourself? Do you love your people? Like, think about the bigger stuff. Like, that's what I'm here to be the role model for. You know what I'm saying? Without being corny and without being preachy and without being whatever. It's like, you could be a good person, but still have a freaking fun time, a ball life, get money, get financial freedom, and still teach others. You know what I'm saying? You can do all of that. And that's me leading by example. So that's my purpose, and that's my brand message. So with all that being said, man, thank you for watching another episode of Ask Jay. Episode, I think I said 58, right? No, 59, excuse me. 59. My bad. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Look out for the Periscope tomorrow, the Instagram, the Snapchats, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the tweets, all that. So we'll be live in action tomorrow in Pennsylvania. I'm sure there's a lot of great footage coming out. All right.